Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you today about a technique, a practice that holds the key to a completely transformed life. It is not something you need to learn from external sources or even from others. This technique is already within you, waiting to be discovered. The technique I am referring to is revision. Now, some of you might ask, what is revision? Why should I even bother with it? The answer is simple. Revision is the art of rewriting your reality, beginning with your past. You may think your past has already shaped your present, but let me tell you, the past is never truly fixed. You have the power to revise it. You see, we live in a world of imagination. Everything you experience begins in your mind. The thoughts, images, and feelings you nurture determine the world you experience. And if your thoughts shape your reality, then surely your past is no exception. Just as you can imagine your future, you can reimagine the events that have already taken place. This technique of revision is not just about fantasizing. It is about consciously changing how you perceive past events. It's about taking those moments that once felt painful or unsatisfactory and transforming them in your mind's eye. Imagine the scene differently. Imagine it as if everything unfolded in your favor. Feel the joy, the relief, the success as though it were happening right now. But here's the catch. You cannot simply imagine these new scenarios with detachment. To truly revise, you must feel it as if it is happening now. Feel the emotions you would feel had it gone the way you wanted. Feel the warmth of success, the excitement of love, the contentment of peace. Without this emotional charge, the revision remains an idea rather than a reality waiting to unfold. As you begin this process, you will face doubts. Your mind may challenge you, saying, "But this is not how it really happened," and you are right. It didn't happen that way. But that doesn't matter. The reality you want to live in is not confined by what has already taken place. What matters is what you choose to believe about it now. Here's where persistence comes in. Just as you will practice a skill, you must practice revising your past consistently. It may not always seem easy at first, but the more you persist in feeling the reality of your revised memories, the stronger your new narrative will become. Hold it in your mind, feel it, and trust that this new version is the one that will eventually unfold in your present. And as you do this, remember to live in the end. Live as if that revised story is the truth. Feel the joy, the peace, or the satisfaction that comes from knowing you have rewritten your past to reflect the reality you desire. It's not about waiting for the world to change. It's about feeling the change within yourself, and from there, the outer world will align. It is so easy to let the weight of past experiences shape how we live today. But the beautiful truth is this: you are the creator of your life. And as a creator, you can revise, reframe, and redesign any part of your journey. There is no experience, no moment that you cannot reshape. By revising your past, you change your present, and by changing your present, you are shaping your future. The power of revision is your power. Use it, trust it, and watch as it transforms your world. Imagination is not just a fleeting thought or a fantasy. It is the very essence of creation. Everything we experience, every moment we live, begins with a simple thought. This thought, when nourished and held in the mind, begins to shape the reality around us. We tend to think of imagination as something separate from our physical world, a place for daydreams or idle thoughts. But in truth, imagination is the blueprint of existence. Think about the things you've experienced or achieved in your life. Before they existed in the physical world, they first existed in your mind. Every building, every invention, every action you have taken began as a vision in someone's imagination. What makes imagination so powerful is that it is not bound by time, space, or external limitations. The imagination is not restricted to the present moment. It is free to roam across past, present, and future. Now imagine this. If you can create your future through your thoughts, why would you not be able to recreate your past? The same mind that can build a vision of the life you desire can also revisit the past, change the way you perceive it, and alter its influence on your present moment. This is where the true power of imagination lies. It allows you to rewrite not just your future, but the very story you carry with you. What you imagine, you become. If you can vividly picture yourself in a different scenario, in a different light, with different outcomes, then your mind begins to take that as truth. The mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. This is why imagination has such an undeniable impact on our lives. When you imagine something with enough intensity and belief, the universe aligns to bring that vision to life. The imagination is not a tool to escape reality. It is the gateway to a greater reality, one that you have the power to shape and mold. Your inner world, created in the theater of your mind, has a direct influence on the external world you live in. It is the seed from which everything grows, and the more you water it with belief, the more it will manifest in your life. The power of imagination is in its ability to transcend what has already happened. You can go back to any moment, any event, any situation, and reimagine it, see it differently, feel it differently, and by doing so, you change the way it affects your life now. This is the profound truth. What you imagine becomes the fabric of your reality. In every moment you are creating. Even if you are unconsciously aware of it, your mind is always at work, creating new images and experiences. The beauty of this is that you are the director, the writer, the actor, all at once. And as you realize this, you realize that nothing is fixed, nothing is permanent. Every thought you have, every vision you hold, is a possibility, a potential reality waiting to be realized. So when you understand the power of imagination, you realize it is not just a tool to dream about a better future, but a power to shape the world around you by first shaping the world within you. When you tap into that power, there is no limit to what you can create, change, or become. All that is required is your belief in it. Revision is not a passive activity. It is a conscious, deliberate act of creation. To revise something is to actively take control of it, to reimagine it with purpose, and to transform it into what you desire. Most people believe that the past is fixed, that what has happened can never be changed. But this belief is what keeps many trapped in cycles of old memories, regrets, and limiting experiences. The truth is, the past is only as real as you continue to perceive it. When you engage in revision, you are not simply rewriting a memory as a form of escapism. You are consciously choosing to redefine your relationship with that experience. By consciously reimagining the past, you reframe it in such a way that it no longer holds power over you. Instead of letting past events dictate your present reality, you rewrite them to align with the person you are choosing to become. This act of revision is an assertion of your creative power. It is an acknowledgement that you are the author of your story and that you have the ability to change the narrative at any moment. The process of revision requires focus and intent. It is not enough to passively think about what could have been. The mind must be fully engaged in the transformation, allowing you to bring the past into alignment with the reality you wish to experience. This is not an act of denial, but of conscious recreation. You are not pretending that something did not happen. Rather, you are choosing to perceive it differently. to find a new meaning and to breathe new life into it. You are consciously deciding that the old story no longer serves you and that a new version is what will move you forward. What makes revision so powerful is that it does not require external changes to the world around you. It is an internal mental shift that carries the weight of transformation. The moment you revise your perception of a past event, the emotional charge attached to it changes. You are no longer a victim of circumstances, nor are you bound by the limitations of old beliefs. Instead, you are free to create new beliefs, new meanings, and new experiences. This shift is a conscious act of reclaiming your power and using it to shape a new reality. By revising your past, you are not only altering how you remember things, but also how those memories affect you in the present. Every event that has shaped your life up until now is stored in your subconscious mind, influencing your thoughts, feelings, and actions. However, by revising those events in your imagination, you transform the emotional energy that once tied you to them. You are no longer a prisoner of past wounds, regrets, or mistakes. Instead, you are a free agent in the present moment, able to act from a place of new understanding and empowerment. This is the beauty of revision as a conscious act. It frees you from the limitations of the past and opens up new possibilities for the future. The act of revising is not a passive wish. It is a powerful, intentional practice that connects you to the infinite creative power within. When you revise, you are stepping into the role of the Creator, shaping your reality with the clear awareness that what you imagine and believe is what you will experience. Revision is the ultimate declaration of your sovereignty over your own life. It is not about waiting for circumstances to change or for the world to align in your favor. It is about taking the reins of your own experience and consciously reshaping your story from the inside out. Through revision, you assert that you are not defined by past experiences. You are the creator of your present and your future. The power to change is always within you, and revision is the conscious act of accessing that power to create something entirely new. Many people live under the belief that the past is a fixed reality, that it holds an undeniable grip on the present. They carry the weight of old memories, experiences, and failures, believing that what has already occurred shapes who they are today. But what if I told you that the past is not as unchangeable as it appears? In fact, you can change your past to change your present, and in doing so, you can transform your entire life. The past, as we understand it, is simply a collection of memories, perceptions, and interpretations that have been stored in our minds. It is not the events themselves that define us. It is the way we remember and interpret them. Our memories are malleable. They are not rigid snapshots frozen in time. They are living, breathing elements of our consciousness, constantly shaped by our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. This is a key insight. The way you recall the past is not set in stone. It is a reflection of your current state of mind. When you engage in the practice of revision, you are not just altering your perception of past events. You are transforming the emotional energy and meaning attached to those events. Let's say you have a memory of a difficult moment in your life, perhaps a failure, a disappointment, or painful loss. That memory, as it stands, might be charged with negative emotions. It could be holding you back, coloring your view of yourself and the world. But what if you could go back to that moment in your mind and rewrite it, not as a failure, but as a learning experience, a victory, or even a moment of unexpected opportunity? By changing the meaning you assign to it, you shift the impact that memory has on your present. This is the power of revision. When you change how you perceive the past, you immediately change how it influences your present reality. Your past no longer holds the power to limit you, to define your worth, or to dictate your current circumstances. Instead, it becomes a resource, something you can use to fuel your growth, to empower your actions, and to create a new future. This process is deeply liberating because it breaks the chains of old patterns. So much of how we live today is driven by unresolved memories, old wounds, and limiting beliefs formed long ago. But by consciously revising these memories, you release yourself from their hold. When you change how you see the past, you break free from the stories you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. Instead of being bound by old mistakes or past failures, you become free to step into a new version of yourself, a version that is no longer weighed down by what happened, but is energized by the possibilities of what can happen next. Changing the past doesn't mean pretending that the negative events never occurred. It means accepting that those events have no inherent power over you unless you allow them to. You take the reins of your narrative, allowing your mind to envision a new story. By doing so, you free yourself from old emotional burdens, leaving space for new possibilities to emerge in your life. The more you practice revising the past, the more you begin to see that the past was never truly in charge. And in changing the past, you automatically change how you show up in the present. You no longer act from a place of unresolved pain or limiting beliefs. Instead, you begin to act from a place of empowerment and clarity. Your thoughts shift, your emotions align with your new understanding, and your actions reflect the new story you are now telling yourself. This is how you change the present. By reclaiming the power of your past and rewriting it in a way that serves the highest vision of who you want to be. This transformation is not some far-off ideal. It is a tangible, real process that happens the moment you decide to take control of your memories and revise them consciously. The past, in its truest form, exists only in your mind. It is only the meaning you assign to it that determines how it affects you now. By changing the meaning, you change the emotional charge, and by doing that, you transform your entire experience of reality. So don't wait for external circumstances to change. Don't wait for time to heal your wounds. Take the power back by revising the past, and in doing so, you will find yourself living in a new present, one that reflects the truth of who you are now, not who you were in a moment that no longer defines you. By changing the past, you shift your perception, and in doing so, you create a reality that aligns with the person you are becoming. Mental imagery is more than just a passive thought or a fleeting daydream. It is the key to unlocking the power of creation. What we imagine in our minds is not a mere fantasy. It is a blueprint for the reality we wish to experience. When you engage in mental imagery, you are planting the seeds for your future. This is because your mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. In other words, when you vividly imagine something, your mind and body react as though it is actually happening. Think about it. The images you hold in your mind are not just idle pictures. They carry immense power. When you picture something in your mind, especially when you feel it with your emotions, you begin to imprint that image onto your subconscious. The subconscious in turn acts as a magnet, drawing your external reality into alignment with what you've imagined. The clearer and more detailed the imagery, the more tangible it becomes in your experience. The imagination becomes the force that attracts and manifests your desires into the physical world. This is why mental imagery is so powerful. It is not just about visualizing, it is about feeling the reality of your imagination. The emotion that accompanies the image is what gives it life and force. When you imagine something with emotion, you create a magnetic charge around that image, signaling to the universe that this is the reality you are ready to step into. It's no longer a distant fantasy. It becomes an immediate possibility. The more you feed your imagery with belief, with emotion, and with certainty, the more your mind begins to accept it as truth. And once your mind accepts it as truth, your reality starts to shift. The beauty of mental imagery is that it is not bound by time, space, or limitations. You can imagine any scenario you desire, regardless of whether it has happened yet. You can rewrite past events, create future situations, or even envision a present situation in a new light. The ability to craft these images is a powerful tool, because everything you see around you was once someone's imagined thought. All the material world, all the experiences you encounter, began as an idea in someone's mind, fueled by the power of their imagination. When you consciously direct your mental imagery, you become the creator of your own experiences. You can visualize the success you desire, the love you wish to attract, the peace you want to feel, and by imagining them in vivid detail, you begin to change the energy you emit into the world. The more often you imagine the desired outcome, the more your energy aligns with that outcome, and eventually the physical world begins to mirror those inner. The mind doesn't understand the concept of future as we do. To your mind, time is an illusion. What you imagine is as real as anything happening in the present. If you want to experience something different in your life, begin with the images you hold in your mind. See yourself as already living the life you desire. See yourself achieving your goals, experiencing love, feeling abundant, or living in peace. The images you create in your mind are the first step toward making them real in your physical world. You are the architect of your reality. With mental imagery, you draw the blueprints of your life and bring them into existence through focus, emotion, and belief. The more often you engage in these vivid visualizations, the more you imprint those images on your subconscious mind, which then begins to move in the direction of your mental pictures. You begin to act, feel, and think in alignment with the new images you created, and eventually the universe must respond by reflecting those images back to you. No. Mental imagery is, in essence, the tool by which you align your inner world with your outer world. It bridges the gap between thought and manifestation, making the unseen become seen. By using imagery, you are not just imagining a better future, you are creating it in the present moment, preparing both your mind and the universe to bring it into fruition. What you hold in your mind's eye is not just a dream, it is a reality waiting to materialize. And the more you nourish it, the faster it will appear before you, the bedrock upon which all creation rests. It is not enough to simply engage in practices like revision, mental imagery, or visualization. Without faith, these tools lack the energy needed to bring about change. Faith is the bridge between your current reality and the reality you wish to manifest. It is the unwavering trust that the process is working even when you cannot yet see the evidence of it. The mind is a powerful instrument, but without faith, it can be easily swayed by doubt and fear. When you first begin the practice of mental imagery or revising your past, it may feel like nothing is happening. Your old beliefs, conditioned by years of past experiences, may rise up to challenge you. The external world might not immediately reflect the changes you're trying to create. This is when faith becomes the key. Faith is not about seeing immediate results. It is about knowing that the seeds you plant in your mind will eventually bear fruit. It is the trust that the process is unfolding perfectly, even if you can't yet measure the results. Faith in the process requires surrender. It requires you to let go of the need to control every step of the way. When you surrender, you stop questioning, doubting, or second-guessing the steps you are taking. You begin to trust that the energy you are putting into your mental practices is working behind the scenes, rearranging the circumstances of your life, just like planting a seed in the soil. When you plant it, you don't keep digging it up to see if it's growing, because you know that it needs time to sprout. Your faith is what nurtures that seed, while you trust that it will emerge in its perfect time. This faith is not blind, it is a deep understanding of the power within you. When you have faith in the process, you are acknowledging that you are the creator of your reality. You are not waiting for external forces to change first, but instead, you are trusting that the internal shifts you are making in your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings are already aligning the universe to reflect those changes back to you. Faith, in this sense, is about fully embracing the knowledge that the universe responds to the frequency you are emitting. If you remain steadfast in your faith, you will continue to attract circumstances, people, and opportunities that align with your new vision. The power of faith lies in its ability to move you beyond doubt. Doubt, after all, is a form of disbelief that slows down or even halts the creative process. When you doubt, you are signaling to the universe that you are not yet fully convinced of your power. Faith, on the other hand, is the unwavering belief that what you are imagining is not only possible, but inevitable. Faith helps you to act as if what you desire is already on its way. And that certainty shifts your energy in ways that open doors you might not have even known were there. Trusting the process also means understanding that the journey is just as important as the destination. The way we experience life, the lessons we learn along the way, and the inner growth we undergo all contribute to the final manifestation. Faith allows you to enjoy the process without needing to rush it, because you understand that every step is moving you closer to your goal. You begin to see every moment, every event, and every experience as part of the unfolding that is happening behind the scenes. Even when things don't appear to be going your way, you trust that everything is happening for a reason, whether you see it in this moment or not. Faith is what allows you to take inspired action. It is the energy that propels you forward even when you don't see the full path. It enables you to take small steps in the direction of your vision, confident that your efforts are being guided by a higher intelligence, a force that is always working to bring your dreams into physical reality. Faith in the process means you stop waiting for things to fall into place and start acting as if everything is already lining up. When you trust in the process, you allow the universe to work in its own time. You stop pushing, forcing, or trying to make things happen out of impatience or fear. Instead, you know that the universe operates in perfect order, and your trust in this natural flow allows the process to unfold with ease. Faith is the gentle knowing that everything is happening as it should, and that you are not alone in your journey. Faith in the process is about developing a deep and unshakable belief in your own power to create. It is about trusting that every thought, every image, every emotion you send out into the universe is making a difference. Even if you can't see the result immediately, faith assures you that the wheels are already in motion, and in time, your desires will manifest. It is this trust, this complete surrender to the process, that allows you to create with effortless power. To truly feel the reality of your vision, you must understand that imagination alone is not enough. It's not enough to simply think about changing a past event or visualizing a new outcome. The secret to manifesting the results you want lies in the emotional charge you attach to the mental image. In other words, the feeling you generate while revising is what breathes life into the new version of your reality. When you begin to revise a past event, Don't just see it in your mind's eye. Feel it as if it is unfolding before you in the present moment. The more vividly you can experience the emotions you would feel if the revised version of your story were happening right now, the more real that revision becomes in your consciousness. You are not merely imagining it, but living it, emotionally, mentally, and physically. You must become the person who is experiencing that new reality as though it were not a distant dream, but something that is happening to you in this very moment. This is where the power of feeling enters the equation. The mind does not distinguish between something real and something imagined with intense emotion. When you feel the reality of your revision, your subconscious begins to accept it as truth. This is why many people experience sudden shifts in their circumstances after practicing revision. They created such a deep emotional connection to the new version of events that their mind and body begin to align with that new reality. The feeling is the catalyst for the shift. Think about a time in your life when you were so deeply immersed in an emotion, whether it was joy, sadness, excitement, or fear, that it seemed to fill your entire being. When you were in that state, it was not just a thought, it was an experience. You didn't simply think about how you felt, you became it. This is the kind of emotional engagement you need to bring to your revision. You need to feel what it would feel like if everything in your past had unfolded exactly the way you wished. If you are revising a difficult event, go back to it in your mind and see it unfold in a way that fills you with peace, joy, or satisfaction. Don't simply glance at it from a distance. Immerse yourself in it. Feel the relief, the happiness, the sense of empowerment that would come with the new version. For example, if you are revising a painful argument you had with someone, imagine the conversation taking a turn for the better. Picture both parties speaking with love, understanding, and kindness. Feel the warmth of reconciliation and the release of any negative energy that might have been associated with that moment. By feeling that new outcome, you are not just changing the past, you are changing the emotional energy that you carry from it, which in turn alters the way you experience the present. This emotional engagement is what makes the process real for your subconscious mind. The emotions you feel act as the magnet that draws the new reality into being. The more real the feeling, the more your subconscious mind accepts the new version of events. And once your subconscious accepts it, your external world begins to shift to reflect that change. Feeling the reality of your revision also requires complete surrender to the process. You must trust that what you are feeling in your revision is just as real, if not more so, than what you experienced in the past. The emotional truth of your revision needs to be embraced fully. You must abandon the doubts, the old beliefs, and the need for external validation. The more you feel your revision as a present experience, the more your subconscious aligns with it, and the more your world will begin to rearrange itself to match that new emotional frequency. You must also recognize that the emotional power of your revision extends beyond the moment you are focusing on. It reverberates through your entire life. When you change how you feel about a past event, you shift the energy around that event. You no longer carry the negative charge associated with it, and this new emotional state impacts everything you encounter, your relationships, your circumstances, and even the way you view yourself. In essence, feeling the reality of your revision is the act of merging your past with your present desire. It is the alchemy that transforms a simple mental image into a living, breathing reality. When you feel the emotions of your revision as though it is happening now, you align your inner world with your outer world, and the universe begins to reflect that alignment. Your revised past becomes your present truth, and the world around you shifts accordingly. The key, then, is to immerse yourself fully in the feeling of the revision until it feels undeniable, as real as any physical experience you've ever had. The moment you do this, you unlock the door to a new version of reality, one where your past is no longer an anchor, but a powerful tool for shaping the future you desire. Remember this: you are the creator of your reality. The past holds no more power over you than you allow it to. Through the power of imagination, revision, and the emotional charge you bring to those revisions, you have the ability to reshape your entire life. Every experience, every event, and every moment you've lived is simply a part of your story, one that you have the power to rewrite. When you feel the reality of your revisions, you not only change your perception of the past, but also the very course of your present and future. The process is simple, yet profound. Decide what you want to experience, immerse yourself in it with unwavering faith, and feel it as if it is already here. You are not a victim of time, nor are you bound by the limitations of what once was. You are a creator, a being of limitless potential, and every moment is an opportunity to shape your world anew. The past is your canvas, and with each stroke of imagination and emotion, you paint a future that aligns with your deepest desires. And so trust the process, feel the power of your revisions, and know that everything you envision is within your reach. The moment you believe in the possibility of change, you begin to witness that change unfolding before you. You are the artist of your own life, and your masterpiece is waiting to be created.